So my newfound definition for discipline is centeredness, oneness. Oneness is a tall order. I'm still reaching for it. I'm sure one day it will come to me, maybe when I'm 90. But it doesn't matter because we need alignment. Alignment at the energetic level beyond physical and mental. We are moving into a more emotional space. So, for anybody with scoliosis, I want to say one thing, that your curvature in the spine is not just physical, it's definitely emotional. There's a lot of locked up emotions in all the tangles of the soft tissue in your spine that needs to be released. So beyond yoga and Pilates, I know I needed to release those knots, and that was my next step. My next step being undoing all the emotional knots that had so much, I would say, mental barrier, fear, anxieties, even things that I didn't even think about, like anger. I didn't think I'm an angry person, but I stored a lot of it in my tissues and I didn't realize it. That was the breakthrough I needed. Does that require discipline? Yes, it does. It requires discipline to stay through to your purpose of finding emotional alignment regardless of how your journey is. My journey then becomes one of physical, finding structure, method, remembering techniques, working with machine, to expanding so that I am free to align within. And I started gyrokinesis. So not many people have heard of this movement method. For those who have not, a little bit of education here is that it's all about releasing tight spine so that you can find more mobility within. With mobility within, you have inner length. And with that, gradually you find greater inner strength because your body can connect better and work better. And with that internal length and strength, you're free to expand and express yourself. So then it becomes something that's inward out rather than just outward in. The journey through that is not so straightforward because when you start moving your body all around, guess what? Your mind also go all around. You need to have sufficient clarity in your mind and sufficient inner strength by then to be able to cope with all the thoughts that come to you as you move with more mobility within. Because mobility brings us more flow of fluid, body fluid. When our body fluid flows better, our chi goes better, our blood circulation flows better, more will go to our brain, which is a good thing, right? We are more acute, we are more clear. But with that, we got to be able to handle all of it. So with the discipline that you've cultivated or I've cultivated through the years from my yoga practice from 2004, everyday yoga practice in 2004, up till by then it was year 2019. I would say I have sufficient discipline to deal with that sudden openness, sudden avalanche of thoughts and emotions that open up through the fascia knots in my spine. Because discipline over time cultivates inner strength. And with inner strength, we can handle a lot of unforeseen circumstances. So what gyrokinesis has taught me is that when we move, we are actually moving through life. When we move through life, yes, our surrounding changes. There are circumstances that we can't help. We cannot do anything other than go with the flow. In those times, do you then allow yourself go splay, go all over the place? No. You stay clear and aligned within. Everything else around you changes, but you don't get shaken up by it. That is what years and years of disciplined practice will bring you in the end. Emotional alignment. When you have emotional alignment, something magical happens. For me, I started to delve deeper into spirituality. I started to listen to my inner voice more. I started to follow my intuition a lot more, trusting myself a lot more. No matter what happened, and things have happened to me, trust me, life has gotten to me. in spite of all that, I was able to keep my vibration higher, not to let things get into my mind and affect me, because of the discipline I've cultivated for more than 10 years. The inner strength that it took to ride through the storms of life start with discipline. Movement practice is one that brings together all elements of your life. It may not look like it, but if you stop seeing it as an exercise, you start seeing movement. There is breath, blood flow, fluid flow, chi flow, movements of the limbs, the joints, the muscles talking to the tissues. There's just so much going on. And in every cell in the body, there is a story of our past life, our anxieties, our anger, our fear. If you don't believe in past life and all that, it does not matter. But at least believe that whatever goes on in our brain and our hearts are received in our soft tissue through the mechanoreceptors. You can look up this word on Google. It's actually something sensory in us that senses everything that goes through us, including our thoughts. Our thoughts have waves, electromagnetic wave within that actually helps the body to process. If the body doesn't process anything good, it's not going to do us any good. So back to movements. Now, over the years, because of the discipline I've cultivated, I then have the inner strength to ride through all the craziness around me, including putting up with the draconian lockdown when I was living in China, to moving back to Malaysia, to adjusting, to having financial difficulties, you name it. But it's all good because I know somehow I'll find my way through emotional alignment within. Emotional alignment also means clarity. So what happens now? Am I in a good space? Totally. I am in a very aligned and peaceful enough space. Can I get better? Of course. Emotions do hit me. Sometimes it brings me down a bit. It gives me doubt. Yes, I'm only human. But it doesn't get to me. And it doesn't actually bring me down that much, probably a few minutes. That's all good. The important thing is this. I'm at a phase where I want to share all this with any of you, all of you. Don't just see movements as exercise. Exercises are very repetitive, very formatted. But if you see movements as movements, you will then allow yourself to understand the interrelationship of our body in relation to the surroundings, your life, your mind, your emotions. That to me is so much more profound than an exercise. Again, one more thing that I want to bring to mind. If you see movement as just an exercise, you'll be chock-a-block. Do this, do this, do this. Yes, you have discipline, but it's a kind of forced discipline. It's a very separated kind of discipline. You are disciplined when you do the exercise, and after that, you could well be doing something crazy like, go into alcohol, drinking, going to crazy parties, and so on. So then you go back to a kind of planned discipline, and then you let yourself go again. They both don't match. Discipline is underpinning through everything you do daily, through the rest of your life. So discipline makes sense only if it leads to more alignment within. So don't separate discipline as one aspect of your life from another. Discipline is very much everything you do, is all of your life. With discipline, you get alignment and clarity. That is where true freedom happens. When you find true freedom, you find you're free to expand and express yourself in any way that does not make you go crazy. It does not let ego get to you. It doesn't bring you to places that you are not ready to go. Because no matter how far you go, guess what? You can always come back to yourself. And that's the most beautiful thing about discipline. As usual, I have overshared, over-talked. I get very, very passionate about sharing my personal journey in all aspects regarding movement because it means so much to me, and I know it can change your life too if you allow it to. The first thing that you need to do if you're new to movement, or if you're up to this point in my video, thank you. Know one thing for sure, Discipline is the foundation for alignment. If I don't use the word alignment, I use the word peace of mind to replace alignment. When you have discipline, you are sure of yourself because you know you are steady from within. Guess what? Everything you do, you have peace of mind. Peace of mind is the essence to a happier life. No doubt about it. Okay, I'm going to stop sharing for now. If you want me to share more, something like that, leave me a comment in the section below because I love to hear what you think, how you feel. And I do hope you make it this far in the video because I'm speaking from my heart, and I really love it if some of you would engage and share your thoughts or your story with me. With that said, keep moving, keep getting better because our body loves it when we move. We are born to move. Don't see a movement as just an exercise. A movement is so much richer with all the interrelationships we have in the body and our surroundings. Do like and subscribe, and I'll see you very soon in the next podcast or video. Movement has been my form of self-care for over 20 years, and I want to show you how you too can move and take better care of yourself every day.